We don't get. I'm getting I'm getting angry right now. I really am. I'm getting angry.
I Before we keep going here, Harry,
I'm
I'm just
getting
gonna do
angry.
a quick little cut. I'm gonna use this first half for BSP Media, and we're gonna do a
Oh,
little crossover. So if you're tuning in here at BSP Media, this is gonna Cold One Conversations. It's Harry Heaps. It's me. We do everything NFL. Obviously, Harry's
I have a
had
headache now. I
got
have a
a headache
headache.
talking about the Ravens. So if you want more of that, go check out Cold One Conversations. The link is in the bio. But thanks everybody for tuning in for BSP Media. We're gonna do some picks coming up here. But Harry, that phone call was magical.
You wonder what happened in sports today. Brandon Petrilli, he got the wave. We talking a lot with bros today. Cracking some jokes the podcast way. Goals on goals. With homers on homers. Tutties on tutties. Got moments on moments. Just tune into BSP. Just tune into BSP. Just tune into BSP. Just tune into Petrilli.
We're going to the Super Bowl,
Open it up.
Ooh.
A little, I don't know what this name brand is here, but it's not bad.
Is that non-alcoholic or alcoholic?
But yeah, it's not alcoholic, just regular.
Nice.
Lit a Lidl. I don't know.
Haven't
My
heard about
grandma,
it.
my grandma gets random stuff, but
Dude, what's up with did you see that White Claw created their own non-alcoholic seltzer? What is the point of that?
yeah, just get Polar or something like.
Exactly. Like why
It's the
is
brand.
I guess.
Hmm.
I just don't understand that at all. What's going on, everyone? You are listening to another episode of Cold Ones Conversations. I am Hollywood Hair. I'm joined by Brendan the Pod Petrilli. We cannot thank you enough for tuning in to the best show on the internet. Brendan, how we doing today?
Doing well, yeah. 100 views on the last episode, hour-long episode on YouTube. It
All right,
was really
brother.
cool to see the numbers just keep on going up and up and up. Let's get those subscribers up too. We know everybody's out there watching it. We love all you, appreciate all of you, and I'm guessing this is going to be a pretty highly clicked on episode. We should have recorded earlier in the week while somebody was calling me at work to bitch and complain about his team, but it is what it is. We're here. It's a Friday. It's a feel good Friday. We'll put it out tonight. Watch it before you go out to the bar or something. Get all your information. So when you go out to the bars tonight for Halloween, you can tell a girl, hey, the bod said take the Lions 10.5. All right. And maybe you'll look good.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we're making you money. We're giving you the ability not only to get that beer at the bar or get that Diet Coke at the bar.
Yeah.
We're also giving you the ability to get an appetizer, a two for one. Texas to the tooth, by the way. Texas to the tooth. Okay, let's get into it, dude. We're gonna break down last week's games. We're gonna break down just two games from last week, and then we're gonna talk about some of the biggest news in the NFL today. Who wants to go first? You have the greatness. I have the devastation. Greatness or devastation?
Yeah, I'll go me first because I don't have a lot to say right now. I'm feeling good.
Yep.
I'm feeling good, man. I'm rocking the C6 tailgate, the birds. Shout out Pit Stains. I was just out raking the leaves, mowing the lawn. We're hardworking men out here in Philadelphia, and that's what this Eagles team is doing. They're out here, they're balling right now. Like they're
Yep.
running the football, they're playing defense. Jalen's making plays when he has to. It's good, hard-nosed football that you've known that they've had. What made it so frustrating at the early parts of this season, where you're like, what's going on here? Why, like, we might have bigger issues, but it's finally starting to really come together. It was kind of the first quarter still drive you nuts, but they were able to turn a corner where it was 17-17. Burrow went and got a big time touchdown to tie it up, and then the offense and defense just fully took over, and it was just a beatdown in the fourth quarter, and it was great.
I
Three
loved
weeks
it.
in a row almost where you're just beating down teams. You should have beat down the Browns better, but you killed the Giants, you kill the Bengals. Hopefully you come out and you kill the Jags this week. This team is finally starting to make everybody feel good. I'm not totally super confident each and every week, but we're feeling better than what we have before. Jalen's starting to get in a rhythm. Saquon's an absolute stud. You have your receivers back. Your back off offensive linemen are absolutely dominating. Like you can plug any offensive lineman into this system right now, and they will go out there and produce 100 yards rushing for this team. Like no problems asked. And it's good to see. The defense, I've always been high on the young defensive core. They're finally starting to fly around. I keep sending you memes of Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell, man. Like these two are absolute studs. Did you see the John Cena one?
Yeah, it was hilarious.
Cooper the Cena or something like that. Like the guy just flies around. They have
Yep.
good football instincts where like you've had guys with talent on this team the last couple years, but they didn't have that mentality of a lot of like Slay and some of these other guys, they were already superstars. These guys are coming up and want to
They're
prove
coming
that
up,
they are.
becoming
And they're
that. Right.
hungry and they're showing it. And it's fun to watch. It's fun.
Right.
Yeah, I'm
I,
not turning on an Eagles football game and I'm not depressed for 4 hours.
I
Like
hear you.
maybe for an hour, but like
Exact. And by the way, I got the used carsman pen
there you
going
go.
on.
There
We
you
always
go.
talk about that used carsman pen. Dude, I said it last week on the show. This was the mojo game for the Eagles. And I also said it had to be a mojo game if they
And I
won
was
in the
nervous about
fashion
it.
that they won. That's why I took the over that game and the over smash. And you're looking at that first quarter and a half of the second, and it did not look that way. I remember texting you. I'm like, dude, this does not look good for my over right now. The Eagles are not putting up the points. I knew that both squads would, right? Like I thought at the minimum that Cincinnati was going to put up a little bit more, but I believed more in that Eagles defense, even more than I did in the Cincy defense to step up, shut them down early. And again, I thought that Joe was going to be able to deliver a little bit more, make the Eagles a little bit more pressured. But dude, once you guys got to that second half, it became that game that I was talking about. It became that mojo game, a game that you can build upon. I think it is completely and utterly buried Cincinnati. Cincinnati is now done. That was a home game where you were going against a team that, if you're a Cincinnati fan, you got to recognize you weren't going against a team that's had their mojo. Eagles have been struggling. Eagles haven't been able to put it together week to week. And they're in your house. And Joe has said, listen, you can win the next 9, win the next 10. You're at home, dude. This is where you capitalize. And the Eagles did what they needed to do, which was to take care of business. And again, what we said, I feel like last week on the show is just completely and utterly, honestly true, that Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry, the two birds who will meet in the Super Bowl, we said it first on this show. Nobody else did. Take the bet. That's all us, by the way. They have completely and utterly proven that the skepticism that you do not pay a top tier running back is absolute BS. It's absolute BS. Because if you have a guy that can deliver the way that these two dudes can, you have a complete, utter arsenal that's available to your game that changes the whole dynamic, especially, on top of it all, not only are they hard runners and not only are they hard scorers, but both of our guys are proven they get open in the flat. And they can score in the flat. They're not just delivering it from being behind the quarterback. They're delivering it while running a route. So, dude, yeah, this was big for the Eagles. And I think, again, this is something where, they were going against at the end of the day, a top-tier quarterback. Might not have been going against a top-tier team, but they were going against a top-tier quarterback. They're going against another good quarterback. You win those games, dude, the Eagles could find their stride where they could really start to make some noise here in the NFC. In my opinion, I'll just throw one more thing, not to keep blowing smoke because I'm not looking to. That win for the Eagles, though their record is worse, Cincinnati, that win is a bigger win for the Eagles than the 49ers beating the Cowboys because the quarterback is better in Cincinnati. So if you're hanging a hat on who's that second team who's coming into the NFC, I right now would put the Eagles a little bit more ahead of the 49ers. That's just my overall takeaway from that game. So, yeah, dude, really huge win for the Eagles.
And that was the biggest question for this team going into that week was you played a lot of bad quarterbacks and they were taking advantage of Deshaun Watson, Daniel Jones. I mean, Jordan Love played well week 1. You were able to get the win there, but Baker Mayfield picked you apart in that week 2 or 3 game, right? So you were a little nervous. The way Joe Burrow, the very first drive, 10-minute drive, goes right down the field, gets them 7 points to start the game. You're like, uh-oh, this is going to be a long game if they can't stop them. They went 7 for 7 on third down conversions on that very first drive. And it was going to be one of those situations where a team that had all the turmoil in the locker room, a team that has the coach that people are saying that the players aren't buying into the head coach, right? They could have rolled over and said, screw it, whatever, we're going to lose this football game. He's going to be gone after this game and we're going to move on. They didn't do that. they came out. The coach has some pull in the locker room after this game. It's proven at this point. There's
Yep.
no more dysfunction where they can buy into the fact of any given Sunday, we have the talent, we have the makeup to go and put up points to make plays on defense where they could have just rolled over, died, and made up to through it. This guy has been able to get the most out of their players. Finally, it's taken some time with the new coordinators on both sides of the ball, but they're finally starting to click. And now, how much is he really getting involved? Honestly, I hope not a lot because it seems like the less he's been doing, the better they've been doing. The head coach Nick Sirianni, but
I got a
at
quick
the end
question
of the
for you on
day, they
that.
could have rolled over and died. They
Yeah,
didn't. They came out and it
didn't.
was the complete opposite where they put it on a team
Absolutely.
that where they were on the fringe of getting a knockout blow, they took it right to them. And it
Yep.
was good to see. And you were talking about our running backs, right? Saquon Barkley had 108 yards. No touchdowns because Jalen stole all of them with the
Yeah.
tush push. But it's just so awesome to know like that was a quiet game for Saquon, and he got 108 yards. You know,
Yep.
Devontae Smith, 85 yards and a touchdown, an absolute dime of a pass in the back of the end zone to catch
Great
that
pick
ball.
by us, by the way. Great pick. That was all
By
you.
us. I
About
told
you.
you. Yeah.
That was about
What did I
you.
tell you?
Yeah.
I was so hyped when that happened.
I know.
But
By the way, are we going to move away from the touchdowns and go back to
I
picks
know.
because
I
it's
think
not
we might have
delivering?
to.
We might
Are we
have
gotta
to.
stay tuned? But do we go 1-1, one touchdown each and one pick each, or do we just go all picks?
I think it's got to be one or the other.
All right.
I would rather be all touchdowns or all picks.
We'll keep thinking. But yeah, Birds are kind of back. Kind of.
Last question for you about the Birds, and I just want to know. I know that you were talking about the level being raised about Sirianni, things getting better, lack of him doing certain things. My question to you, Trill, is do you believe, I mean, obviously in sports media, all the reports are always at a heightened level, whether they're good or bad. Nothing's ever as good as they say, and nothing's ever as bad as they say. But my question is it real, the dysfunction specifically between Sirianni and Jalen?
Yeah. I
You
would
think
say
that's,
so.
yeah,
And
okay.
everything they say, yeah. Because that's the biggest frustration where it was Nick Sirianni's definitely a weird dude and not a guy that's can rub people the wrong way, right? And Jalen isn't an outgoing type of person. He's
Right.
kind of a guy like if he likes you, he likes you. If not, he'll tolerate you, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And Jalen was starting to get rubbed the wrong way by Nick, and Jalen had the big contract. I'm not saying that's where his mindset was after he got paid, but it was starting to be like, hey, I need to start doing some other things. Maybe they were. And Jalen wasn't saying the things that an Alabama quarterback would say that would push it away. That controversy.
You're right, actually.
He was leaving the door open. Now
Yeah.
people are saying, well, he never said that. You're putting words in his mouth. But he didn't not.
But that's
say
the point.
All
That's
you
the
have
point.
to do is just not say it. Or say
go
something,
against it. Outwardly
yeah.
go against it.
Yes, just be like, no, this is why are we even talking about it? Then it would have been over.
Yeah.
It would have been over. So, but you can see every single week. I cut the post-game audio and everything every single game, and you see Jalen Hurts this last week. I should start pulling the audio for us to play to kind of spice up our level here. But he goes, paraphrasing, he was like, oh, well, what do you think of the offense? He's like, yeah, we're definitely still not there yet. Like me and the coaches, we're still not there, but we're going in the right direction. So him saying stuff like that, there's definitely still works in progress that he's like, oh, yeah, I feel really good about it. We're going. He said, no, we're still not there, which is good that he realizes it at least.
Mm-hmm.
So they're in a good spot right now. You're playing a lot of bad football teams. You can't fall into a trap against this Jags team. That was very high and got the start of the year. So I'm going to put that cushion out there. But, you got to keep rolling these bad football teams. Winning heals all.
You got to play like Dallas. Right now, the Eagles need to play like Dallas last year. That's what they got to do. They got to capitalize big.
Oh, against bad teams. I know
against bad teams. They got to. All right, let's move on.
All right, let's talk about some losers here. A team that was supposed to be the top of the league. Oh, roll Ravens, roll. We're the best. We're the baddest. Whoever made the thumbnail even said, the Ravens run the NFL. Maybe that person jinxed it, but who knows? For them to come out flat the way that they did to a bad team. And what happened, Harry?
But let me ask you a quick question, though. Is that true? Is Cleveland a bad team?
Oh, now we're hyping up Cleveland.
No, I'm not. Now? What did I say about Joe Flacco?
No, you were high on Cleveland. You were.
I've said it all season long. If Cleveland kept Joe Flacco, they'd be the third team in the AFC. I've said that since day one. They've just had a terrible quarterback. That defense is a
I'm
top
happy
5
for
defense.
Jameis.
And any day of the week, that defense is a top 5 defense in the NFL. Let's not get it twisted. Let's not get it twisted. I don't care if they're going against Tom Brady. I don't care if they're going against Lamar Jackson. I don't care if they're going against Jalen Hurts. I don't care if they're going against Jared Goff. They're a top 5 defense week in and week out. The difference is that last year when their quarterback got hurt, they had a savior at backup who stepped up, who, by the way, is a top 10 quarterback. That's the next part of the show that we're going to get into. That's the only positive thing I can say about this, who will always be known as the former Raven. And then, yeah, they won, man. And I said you can't take that spread in the AFC North showdown. You just can't, because Cleveland, no matter who's playing quarterback, even if Deshaun Watson had played that game still would have been close, because it's the AFC North. And I've always said it before, the teams that are always going to play the Ravens differently, just like we play them differently, are Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, Cleveland. And the Ravens we have this DNA. It's so true about us. And this was the thing that I said on Saturday when I was at a high school friend's 60th birthday party for her mother. I was talking with all my friends who were there. We were talking about betting the game. And I said, dude, Baltimore has a very high school basketball DNA. And what I mean by that is, when we're hot and we're dominating on bad teams, we go. But if we play an out-of-conference team, an MIA team that's a few levels below us, we go down to their level. That's what the Ravens have always done. We play to the highest high, and if we know that we can let off the gas a little bit, we do that. And what was the result? You once again saw Lamar Jackson being who Lamar Jackson is. Peyton Manning, I'm going to scream it from the rooftop the rest of this season. Getting 89 involved, showing Zay Flowers so much love throughout the game. By the way, Todd Monken proving he fully understands the capacity of the personnel that he has on the squad right now. What do you mean by that, Harry? I mean that you did not see Derrick Henry. You did not see Derrick Henry play an entire quarter between the second and the third until 3 minutes left in the third quarter. You're seeing that Derrick Henry is not an outwardly known snap count, but he is internally, which is what I've wanted to see. You're seeing the offensive packages that are coming out, again, with Rashad Bateman, with having Aguilar opened up in the flat if no one else is there. Seeing Likely, obviously, he wasn't a big presence this past game, but we've seen him this whole season. And again, Mark Andrews now fully having his mojo back. And what it comes down to is, I've been laying a lot of excuses. Here's the point of why the Ravens lost that game. I called so many of my friends. I called you specifically 2 days later. In all my years of being a Baltimore Ravens fan, and I think in our whole franchise's history, I have never seen the lack of defensive pressure set by a team ever in our whole organization go this season long. Go as long as this season has. We are 8 weeks in, going into 9 weeks, and we have not committed to a single game where our defense has said to the other side, we're going to put you in third and long all game long. I'm repeating what I said to you over the phone. We have not said that at all, that we're going to put you in third and long all game long. And what happened on that last drive that Cleveland scores on to go up by 1? You have a guy we did a Harry Heats. They did a Harry Heats rugby style. They went shoulder tackle.
Not even shoulder. It was like it was the magic fingers.
Arms. It was all arms. We let a guy walk into the end zone. Where is that Ravens pressure put you on your ass all game long? Where is that? This is the whole reason about what I said last week when we brought up the Hopkins trade. What was my answer? I don't feel that we need to go get another offensive piece, which if we want to get into, we can, because we did acquire. We need real pass rush. We don't have a January pass rush right now. And we saw it this game. When you put a guy who's comparable with that Cleveland defense, like Jameis Winston, what happens? They can score. They can actually put together a good game plan. And when you don't have, I don't know what is going on with Roquan. You're seeing that his leadership in not having Mike McDaniel as his coordinator, it's going through that last season Eagles experience where you guys were in the Super Bowl 2022, lost your coordinators, and we see the result. Our players are not playing the same, and that comes down to coaching. That comes down to coaching no matter any way that you cut it. Our offense is proving that there is not another offense that's better than us right now in the league. I will say that, maybe outside of Detroit. Absolutely. I don't care even if Patrick and Kelce get it down. We're on the same level as them offensively. But our defense is going to kill us if we don't get. I'm getting angry right now. I really am. I'm getting angry.
Before we keep going here, Harry, I'm just gonna do a quick little cut. I'm gonna use this first half for BSP Media, and we're gonna do a little crossover. So if you're tuning in here at BSP Media, this is gonna be Cold One Conversations. It's Harry Heaps. It's me. We do everything NFL. Obviously, Harry's
I have a headache now.
Got a headache talking about the Ravens. So if you want more of that, go check out Cold One Conversations. The link is in the bio. But thanks everybody for tuning in for BSP Media. We're gonna do some picks coming up here. But Harry, that phone call was magical.